Chapter 2.2 European Colonization. 4 European powers, Spain, France, the Dutch and England, all planted colonies in North America, but they wanted completely different things. Spain wanted wealth and souls. France and the Dutch wanted trade. England wanted land. In this chapter, we compare how and why each empire colonized, and why those differences mattered so much. This is comparison, the unit's signature skill in action. Here's the big idea, and it's the key to the whole chapter. 4 European empires colonized North America, but each wanted something different. Spain wanted wealth and religious converts. France and the Dutch wanted trade, above all the lucrative fur trade. And England wanted land for farming and permanent settlement. Those different goals led directly to very different colonies, different sizes, different economies, and very different relationships with native peoples. So as we go, keep asking one question. What did this empire want? Because the goal drives everything. Here's the whole comparison on one slide. Screenshot it. Spain wanted wealth and souls, and colonized through conquest, the Encomienda, and missions, subjugating and converting large native populations. France wanted the fur trade, built trading posts with few settlers, and formed cooperative alliances with native peoples. The Dutch wanted trade and profit, centered on the commerce of New Netherland, until England took it over. And England wanted permanent settlement, land, farms and families, which meant displacing native peoples and frequent conflict. 4 empires, 4 very different approaches. Now let's take them one at a time. First, Spain, the established power carrying over from Unit 1. Spain's goals were wealth, especially gold and silver, and religious conversion. Its methods were conquest, the Encomienda system of forced labor, and a network of missions and forts called presidios. Geographically, beyond Mexico and the Caribbean, Spain held Florida, founding St. Augustine, and pushed into the southwest, founding Santa Fe. Native peoples were subjugated, pressured to convert, and intermarried with, creating mixed-race populations. And resistance flared, most famously the Pueblo Revolt of 1680. Spain, wealth and souls, taken by conquest. Next, France, and notice how different it is. France's goal was the fur trade, especially valuable beaver pelts. Its method was a network of trading posts staffed by relatively few settlers, mostly men, including the famous coureurs de bois, or fur trappers. Geographically, Samuel de Champlain founded Quebec in 1608, and the French spread along the St. Lawrence River, the Great Lakes, and down the Mississippi into Louisiana. Because the fur trade depended on native trappers, the French treated native peoples as valued trade partners and allies, and often intermarried. The result was the most cooperative native relations of any European power. France, fur, and friends. Third, the Dutch, small but influential. The Dutch goal was pure trade and profit, run by the Dutch West India Company. Their colony, New Netherland, centered on New Amsterdam, a bustling port on Manhattan Island, plus fur trading posts up the Hudson River. New Amsterdam was strikingly diverse and religiously tolerant, attracting settlers of many backgrounds, a commercial hub above all. But the Dutch colony sat right between England's northern and southern colonies. And in 1664, England simply seized it and renamed it New York. The Dutch, commerce and tolerance, until England took over. Finally, England, the colonizer that matters most for our story. England's central goal was land for farming, but its colonists came for many reasons. Religious freedom, for Puritans, Quakers and Catholics, and economic opportunity, like growing tobacco. England colonized through joint stock companies, like the Virginia Company at Jamestown, and proprietary colonies, like Pennsylvania and Maryland, And crucially, settlers came as whole families. They settled the Atlantic coast in what became 13 colonies, and from the start, they built institutions of self-government, like Virginia's House of Burgesses, England, land, families, and self-rule. Let's nail the contrast the exam loves. Why did England stand apart? 3 things. First, England wanted land for permanent farms, not just trade goods to ship home. Second, English settlers came in whole families, not just as male traders, so the colonies grew quickly through natural increase and soon vastly outnumbered the French and Dutch. And third, English colonies developed more self-government than any rival, through assemblies and town meetings. But there was a dark flip side. Because England wanted the land itself, it pushed native peoples off it, producing the worst native relations of any European power. Let's compare native relations directly, because it's a classic essay theme. France and the Dutch focused on trade, treated native peoples as essential partners, and built cooperative alliances. Spain focused on wealth and conversion, subjugated native peoples through forced labour and missions. And England focused on land for farming, displaced native peoples, and clashed with them again and again. The deep reason comes down to one thing: what each empire wanted from the land. Trade needs native partners, so it builds alliances. Farming needs the land itself, so it pushes native peoples off it. Goals shaped relationships. So why does all of this matter? Because each empire planted different roots that shaped North America's future. Inland settler colonies, growing fast through family migration and farming, would become the largest and most populous. And those 13 colonies are the heart of the rest of this course. The differences between the empires, and especially among England's own colonies, drive everything in the rest of Unit 2. Up next, we zoom in on England's 13 colonies and break them into their 3 distinct regions. Foundations matter, and these were the foundations. Anchor it to the College Board. Key Concept 2.1. Europeans developed varied colonization and migration patterns shaped by different imperial goals, cultures, and environments, and competed with one another and with American Indians for resources. And your specific Topic 2.2 job is to explain how and why the various European colonies developed and expanded from 1607 to 1754. The key word is variety. Different empires, different goals, different colonies. In theme terms, this chapter is led by America in the world, 4 empires competing for a continent, and migration and settlement as different peoples move in different ways. You'll also see work, exchange, and technology in the fur trade and plantation economies, politics and power in England's early self-government, and American and regional culture as distinct colonial societies begin to form. Lead with America in the world and with migration and settlement. 2 skills to drill. First, comparison. This is the comparison chapter, so practice lining up the 4 empires side by side. Their goals, their methods, their settlers, and their native relations. Second, causation. Be ready to explain why those different goals produced such different colonies, economies, and conflicts. Comparison and causation are your point winners here. Lock it in. Screenshot this slide. 1. Spain, gold and god. Wealth and conversion by conquest and missions. 2. France and the Dutch. Fur and friends. Trade-driven, allied with native peoples with few settlers. 3. England, land and families. Permanent settlement that displaced native peoples but built self-rule. And 4. Goals-shaped colonies. What each empire wanted determined what it built. 4 hooks, and the whole comparison is yours. 60-second recap. 1. Spain, France, the Dutch and England colonized for different goals. which produced very different colonies. 2. Spain sought wealth and converts through conquest, the Encomienda and missions. 3. France and the Dutch focused on the fur trade, with few settlers and cooperative native alliances. 4. England focused on settlement, land, farming and families, and had the worst native relations. And 5. England's colonies grew to have the most settlers and the most self-government. Lock it in! That's Chapter 2.2. Next up, Chapter 2.3, the regions of British colonies, where we zoom in on England's 13 colonies and compare New England, the middle colonies, and the southern colonies up close. Subscribe so you don't miss it, and I'll see you in the next one on your way to a 5.